Okay, so I'm gonna go over a few of the questions from the lesson quizzes because it only gives you an answer, so I wanted to at least work a couple out so you can see where these answers came from. So to start out, we're gonna do number 3. This is on slide 30, by the way, if you're going through this on your own PowerPoint. So I've got a trapezoid, kind of a weird looking one, and I wanna find the area. So I already wrote out my area formula here. 1/2 of the bases added together times the height. So hopefully we can tell right away that these two parallel pieces right here are our bases. So just pick one to be base 1, the other one will be base 2. It doesn't really matter which one is which. So we'll just make that base 1, we'll make this base 2. And now I need the height of this trapezoid. So the reason that redrawing these pictures is kind of nice is because sometimes when we turn it, it makes a little bit more sense. So I think if we turn it like this, kind of ignore all this going on here, and I'm just looking at my trapezoid like this now, where these are my bases, hopefully it becomes pretty obvious that this is our height. So this is our, I'll turn it back around so it's not upside down, this equals our height. So I have base 1, I have base 2, I have my height, I can go ahead and plug everything in now. So my area is going to equal 1/2 of these bases added together. I'll keep my colors the same here so we can keep track of it. Of 7.2 plus 4. And then that's going to be times. Now our height has an x in it, so we got to remember to keep that here. It's going to be times 3x. And if you check the final answer, there is an x in our answer. We're not solving for x, it's just going to kind of be there and be annoying, you know? Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify. So let's go ahead and add these guys together. So what are we writing here? Our area is 1/2, and 7 plus 4 is going to give us 11.2. And remember, this is still times that 3x here. So when we multiply all of this out, unfortunately, it is going to still have an x, and it's going to be a decimal. So when we do 1/2 of 11, that's going to come out to 5.5 plus this 0.1, and then times 3 and times x. So all together, it's going to come out to 16.8x. And because our units up here were feet, that means that our area is going to be feet squared. And make sure this is a decimal here. So 16.8x feet squared, and this is where it came from. Okay, so here's number 4, which comes obviously right after the last problem that we did, where I want to find the base of a triangle. So I just drew a random triangle here. So I want to find the base. I'm not finding the area, I'm actually solving for one of the sides here. And I know the height of this triangle is 8 centimeters, so this would be 8. And I know that my total area is 12x plus 8 centimeters. So again, we've got this x in here, but that's okay, we'll figure it out. So I just kind of drew a random triangle. If you did decide to draw this out and you drew a right triangle or just anything that looks different than this, totally fine. It's just a sketch to help us out. So just remember that this is the base that we're solving for. Okay. So like with everything that we're doing right now, we want to start with our area formula. And area formula for a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. And now let's go ahead and plug in the stuff that we know. So I know the area, which is 12x plus 8. I have a 1/2. B is base, which is what I'm trying to find, so that's just going to stay B. And our height is 8 here. And now we are solving for B. And remember, this x is still going to be here. We're not solving for x, we're solving for base, the B, and it's going to have an x in the answer, and that's okay, that's fine. So let's go ahead and we can simplify this a little bit. I can do 1/2 and 8. So on the left-hand side, I'm not doing anything. It's going to stay 12x plus 8. And on the right-hand side, I have 8 and times 1/2, and half of 8 is 4. And that's still times our base here. So this is getting a little bit easier to solve. So what I want to do now, I'm really close to just having the base over here by itself, just B. I want to cancel out multiplying by this 4, so I'm going to divide by 4. That's how we cancel things out. So divide both sides by 4 to get rid of that. And so I need to divide both of these pieces by 4. So I've got a 12x divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Don't forget that x, that still needs to be there. Plus 8 divided by 4 is just 2, and that equals, on our right hand side, we just have b. So our base equals 3x plus 2. That's the expression for our base. That equals 3x plus 2. Like I said, we do have an x in there. Hopefully that makes sense. If you really want to check your answer, you can multiply this back out. You can multiply base times height and make sure that you still get this same area here. Oh, and don't forget, this is going to be centimeters as well. Okay, we're on our last question for part 2 of this lesson quiz. This one might be a little bit longer than the others, not necessarily harder, there's just a few extra steps to follow. So what I want to do is I want to find the area of this rhombus. So last time we're going to start out with our area formula for a rhombus, which is 1/2 times d1 times d2, where that stands for our diagonals. So for this rhombus, we are given one of these diagonals, and that means that we need to find the other. I need to find the other diagonal here. It's going to look like that. So basically what happens when I draw this second diagonal that I need to solve for down the middle here, that makes a right angle. Remember that our diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So this makes a right angle, and it bisects this 72 meters here. So half of 72 meters means that, let's do this in a different color. Just this piece from here to the middle, half of 72 is going to be 36. So that piece right there is just 36. Hopefully you can see that. So what I did is I made a right triangle here. I can even redraw that if we need to. I've got a right triangle where this is my right angle. This is my hypotenuse. This is my long side across from my right angle. So this is going to be my C here. And the other side is 36, and this is the side that I need to solve for. So you can call that whatever letter you want. Let's just go with X. So now we're going to do Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side of this triangle here. So remember, Pythagorean theorem is this side squared plus this side squared equals that squared. So we're going to have x squared plus 36 squared equals 39 squared. I know these are big numbers. That's okay. Go ahead and get a calculator out. So x squared, that's what we're trying to solve for. 36 squared is going to be 1,296. And 39 squared is 1,521. So I know they're big numbers, but we can do this. Okay, so solving for x here. What I want to do is I want to get x all alone by itself on the left-hand side. So what that means is I need to subtract or move this over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract from both sides to cancel that out. Okay. So that means that on the left, all I've got is x squared. And on the right, I've got 1,521 minus 1,296. Whew. But thankfully, that comes out to a nice number, which is 225. Okay. It's looking good here because my last step to get just x, because I don't want x squared, I just want x, I want to take the square root. That's how we cancel out with square. So take the square root to cancel that out, which will leave us with just x here. And the square root of 225, thankfully, is a really nice whole number. It comes out to 15. All right, we are off to a really great start here. So we figured out that this part of our diagonal here is 15, which means that our diagonal as a whole is twice this. So let's try to keep track of this. I'll use a different color here. So that means that this piece is 15. Remember, this is the part of the right triangle that we just solved for. It's 15. And that means that this piece down here is also 15. So my entire diagonal is two 15s put together, which is 30. Okay, so now we can use our area formula. Our area formula is 1/2 times those two diagonals. And I know what those diagonals are now. So 1/2 times my first diagonal was 72, And the other diagonal that I just found is 30. We are so close. We are almost done. You're doing a great job. Okay. Now we just need to multiply all of this out. So 1/2 times 72 times 30 is another really big number. That comes out to 2,160. And our last step, obviously, is to divide by 2. So divide this by 2, and we will end up with 1,080. And since our units here were meters, that means that our area is 1,080 meters squared. And we're done. We did it. Congrats, guys.